Hey guys, my name is Nutch, and welcome back to Pokémon LeafGreen. Last time, we found Mewtwo and caught it, and we also found a roaming legendary, but we don't want to talk about that. We mainly caught Mewtwo in the Cerulean Cave and ended off our journey. You might be wondering why we are back here, when I did say that was the end. I need to go over the Pokemon that I've missed, and the Pokemon that you would not normally catch in a regular playthrough. So, without further ado, let's get started. So going on with the starters, Ivysaur is the evolved form of Bulbasaur. It's pretty good. If you know me, I love Bulbasaur and the entire evolutionary line with all my heart. It's one of my favorite starters of all time, and it's just really good. I really like how it gets a lot of utility moves, like Poison Power. Well, it gets it as Bulbasaur, but if you mainly want to use it, it's like you can learn Toxic, like learn Protect, even though like anyone can learn that. But I like the Venusaur, like Toxic Stall strat. It's pretty good for like a middle evolution as well. It does help with a lot of things here in Kanto. But it's mainly there. I'm gonna go over like the middle evolutions as well. They're just there. It's not until when they fully evolve and like they get really good. And speaking of that, when fully evolved, it'll become Venusaur. Venusaur, I really like so much. It's a really good special attacker, but it's on a bit of the slow side. It can tank hits, but not that well, like compared to Blastoise. But it is able to take hits quite well, and it can deal lots of damage with a Sunny Day Solar Beam. And with that move too that we saw at the Sevi Islands, can learn Frenzy Plant. So that's another good plus. It's very strong, I like it a whole lot, and it's a really good team member for a Kanto playthrough, because grass types are good against the first two gyms. If you chose Squirtle, you would have no problem with the first one. It's just for those Charmander fans, you're going to have a tough time with the first two gyms. Well, anyway, next up, Charmeleon. Charmeleon is a very good Pokemon, and it gets really good when fully evolved. It's good. It learns some decent moves, it learns some decent moves. It's got great special attack, and Fire is just a really good typing in general. It's just not that viable in Kanto, in my opinion. There are a lot of things that it's good against, like Erica's gym, and when fully evolved into the Elite Four, like some of Lorelei's Pokemon, and when fully evolved into Charizard, some of Bruno's Pokemon. But, again, when fully evolved, Charizard, it does get the flying type, dual flying type, so it becomes a fire flying, so be careful when going up against rock types, because it's got quad weakness now. And it's got really good utility moves, like Fly. That's only for the remakes, though, and Yellow. It cannot learn Fly in Red and Blue. For some reason, for a flying type with wings that looks like a dragon, cannot learn Fly. But Charizard is a fantastic Pokemon. I know I kind of shit on Charmander at the start of this LP, but that's because I do prefer Bulbasaur over the ones that can actually hurt my Bulbasaur, that is Charmander. But, all jokes aside, Charmander/Charizard is a fantastic Pokemon. It's just, I don't think it's very viable for a Kanto playthrough, but that doesn't mean it's unusable. No, it's very good. Alright, next up, we've seen it before, we've seen it evolve as well. It's our Wartortle. Wartortle is a fantastic tank. It is very good at what it does, that being a tank. It's good on the physical defense side and on the special defense side, but it's on the bit of the slow side as well. But it can also deal some damage as well. When fully evolved into Blastoise, oh man, now this is where it gets really good. It gets access to a lot of great moves like Hydro Cannon, Skull Bash. You can teach it Blizzard as well, like you've seen before with my Blastoise. And if you happen to gamble all your life savings away at the game corner, you can get yourself the TM for Ice Beam and teach it to Blastoise. Good for some nice Ice-type coverage. Well, yeah, that's the entire starters. We're moving on. The final evolved form of the Pidgey line, Pidgeot. Pidgeot is the standard go-to when it comes to having a flying type for your team. Though it is very good, I do prefer Fearow over Pidgeot, but that doesn't mean that it's unusable. It's really good. It's fast, it can deal a lot of damage, and it's just an entirely good Pokemon for an early route Pokemon. It's really good. It evolves, like, when fully evolved it up to level 36, that's when it evolves. So just keep in mind that it's a little bit of a grind to get it, but it's in like the same range as the starters. So if you picked up a Pidgey on your first playthrough with your starters, it will be fine. But yeah, next up, oh man, fully evolved bug type from the Weedle line is Beedrill. Beedrill! Ooh man, bug types in Kanto, not that good. Do not use bug types unless it's Scyther. Scyther is really good, but it doesn't learn bug type moves in this generation as of yet. But anyway, we're talking about Beedrill. Beedrill, bug poison type. It's actually, I prefer Beedrill over the other line, being like the Caterpie line, because of its utility. Since it's a bug poison type, it has a lot of moves that can like lower speed, even inflict poison, which is really good. But even though it is a bug type, and bug types are supposed to counter psychic types, all of the bug type moves in this game are weak. Yeah, so making bug types not a good option. But it's also not that good as well stat-wise. So I'd say pass up on getting Beedrill. And the next one is not any better, it's Butterfree. Butterfree! I like Butterfree as a Pokemon, especially Ash's Butterfree. But in the games, it's not that good. Bug flying, really bad typing, quad weak to rock, and it's just not entirely all that strong. There are other better bug type / flying type options out there. Well, anyway, next on is my original party member that I wanted to use was Nidoking. Nidoking, fantastic Pokemon, very strong. And I love its ability, Poison Point. It's mainly on the, like, attacking side, like, straight up, like, attacking side, but it's a bit on the slow side as well. It learns some fantastic moves, Sludge Bomb, Earthquake, and it's got a really unique typing for, like, Gen 1. Poison Ground is really good. When you pick up a Nidoran on the early routes and evolve it into like a Nidoran or Nidorina or Nidorino, depending on the gender, and make it a Mount Moon, it's an easy final evolution right there when you pick up a Moonstone. Alright, well, next up, you all love her, it's Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen is a really good Pokemon, as you saw with my Nidoqueen, but anyway. It's well balanced, and it's on the speedy side as well, so it can outspeed its counterpart. Learn some other moves, learn some great moves, just like before, like we saw, and it's just, I say it's a little bit better than Nidoking, even though I do like Nidoking a little bit more. After this playthrough, Nidoqueen has probably earned a spot higher than it. But since they are basically the same Pokemon, they all like similar stat spreads, similar move pools. It's just depending on what you want to use. Well, next one. Next one being Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff, the final evolved form of Jigglypuff. The way to get this is that you're going to need to use a Moonstone on Jigglypuff. Wigglytuff does not get the Fairy type in this game. It's not until Gen 6 is where some Pokemon got converted or been given the Fairy types. So for this, it's just staying as a pure normal type. Jigglypuff, it's one of those Pokemon that likes to use Metronome, so it's a bit of a gamble what you want to go with this thing. But it's kind of weird. Like, it's there, like, it can be used, but it's not that good. It's decent, that's what I'm trying to say. But, like, I would mainly like to use Wigglytuffs, especially the other Pokemon that we'll get to soon, mainly for Metronome battles. Metronome battles are very fun, and I do recommend, like, trying it out and see for yourself how chaotic it gets. But, yeah, like, Jigglypuff is again an early Pokemon. Like, at the first route you would go to. Not Route 1, but what I was trying to say is, like, the first route leading to Mount Moon, where you can get a Moonstone so you can get yourself an early Wigglytuff. Well, next one, Clefable. Clefable! Again, just like with Wigglytuff, it does not get the fairy typing, so instead of being a pure fairy, it is a pure normal. Clefable is the better of the counterparts. Again, Metronomes is pretty fun, but it's really good when it comes to special attacks. Again, you can pick yourself a Clefairy in Mount Moon and get a Moonstone and get yourself an early Clefable. And it's just a really good Pokemon entirely. It's not until like Gen 4 when it gets really good thanks to the physical special split. But that doesn't mean it's like not good, and it is good in Kanto. It's just gets outshined by most things. Next one, Ninetales. Ninetales, the fully evolved form of Vulpix, with the use of a Firestone. Vulpix. Ninetales. I feel bad for this thing. It's got some weird stats for Kanto, like for Gen 3. Again, it's like one of those Pokemon that gets really good thanks to the physical special split. It's just, oh man. I tried using a Ninetales in the playthrough before, and it was lagging behind. But that doesn't mean it's not good. It is good. It's just, again, there are other better options out there. Like, it can learn like a lot of great moves, like Flamethrower, Will-O-Wisp, and all that, Confuse Ray. I'm pretty sure it can learn Confuse Ray. It would seem like the type of Pokemon that can learn Confuse Ray after its like Dex Origins and all that. But it is a pretty good Pokemon, but the Pokemon we're going to talk about in quite a little bit actually is way better. Alright, next one on the list, Vileplume. Vileplume, very good Pokemon, and I do like it a whole lot. It's got some good utility moves, of all the powders, a Stun Spore. It'll be really good in Sunny Day, where it gets Chlorophyll when it gets double speed, and of course Solar Beam. Yeah, Vileplume is a really good Pokemon, and I just recommend it a whole lot. Like, I have used one before, and it was really good. It is another one of the grass poison types that meant the overabundance of them here in Kanto. So if you want to pick up, you can get Oddish at the top of Cerulean City, and that's where you get one. And all you just need is a Leaf Stone to fully evolve it from Gloom into Vileplume, and bada bing, bada boom, you got yourself a really good Pokemon. Next, speaking of really good Pokemon, Arcanine. Arcanine is a fantastic Pokemon, a great addition to anyone's team. Being a fire type, a strong fire type at that, getting a really good ability being Intimidate, and it's just better of the ones that you would count on like Vulpix and Ninetales. It's just way better. You've got better moves, it's just got a great ability, it's just stronger entirely, and it's a fire dog. Who doesn't like a fire dog? It's known as the legendary Pokemon. It's not a legendary Pokemon, it's just known as the legendary Pokemon. But again, oh man, we've seen it before. We've seen Arcanine in battle, especially with Blue's Arcanine. It's strong. Well, next up, it's Poliwrath. I have a soft spot for Poliwrath because it was on one of my very first teams I ever made for a Pokemon playthrough. And that was my first playthrough of Soul Silver, where I used Poliwrath and it made it to the Elite Four. Poliwrath, water fighting type. The way to get this is that you're going to need a Poliwrath with the use of a Water Stone. Oh man. Poliwrath is weird in Kanto. It's water fighting, so it's both physical and special of the typings. It's not until, again, Gen 4, blah blah blah, we know the physical special split, but it's actually really good. So it does have like great attack stats, And it's got like good special attack as well. It's just depending on how you want to use a Poliwrath. Do you want to go for the special playthrough of being mainly a water type, or do you want to tear through things with its great attack stat and being a fighting type? The choice is yours. Next up, the best psychic type in the game other than Mewtwo. It's the master of spoons, it's Alakazam. Alakazam, fantastic special attacker, great speed, but frail. Very, very frail. On the physical side, it's everything that does it with specially, it's great. Though, it's locked behind trading. So you need to have someone else trade you their Kadabra or your Kadabra to evolve into Alakazam and then trade it over. But if you do have a friend and you do trade, you get yourself a really good special attacker and great psychic type, because psychic types in Kanto are busted. But I think anyone who's played a Kanto game has used at least one Alakazam in a playthrough. If you haven't, what are you doing? You're weird. Next up, another great fighting type, Machamp. Machamp, great, like fantastic attack stats across the board, and it's just a powerhouse. Another one of these Pokemon, another example of a great Pokemon locked behind trading. Yeah, gonna need a Machoke, again trade it over to a friend, trade it back, and you'll get yourself a Machamp. But it is worth it. It is a fantastic Pokemon, learns some great fighting type moves, and it's just entirely a good Pokemon. Next one is Victory Bell. Victory Bell I don't like a whole lot. It's good, it's just that, like, Vileplume's there, Venusaur's there, everyone's there. It's just, Victory Bell, it looks weird to look at, but it is good. It is good. It learns like a lot of like utility moves, like to deal damage over time, like poison powders, any poison type move, toxic, and like rap and all that. It can learn that, and yeah, it's weird to look at, but it's a pretty good Pokemon. I just prefer Vileplume over Victory Bell. Next one, another Pokemon that is great but locked behind trading is Golem. Golem! Hey, Golem. It is a tank. This thing can take hits, but not very well against grass water types. Moves, for instance, because it's a ground rock type and it's quad weak to both those types. It's slow, but it can tank a lot of hits. And again, you're going to need a Graveler, trade it to a friend, trade it over, and you get yourself a Golem. And it does learn like really great moves, and it does have like a high attack stat as well. It's just mainly there to be a wall. Alright, next one. We've seen it before, and we will see it again. It is, of course, Dodrio. Dodrio, fantastic physical attacker and very fast. On the downside, though, it is very, very frail. So it's a glass cannon. This thing can deal hits, but it can't take hits, which sucks. So you gotta think of a way around this. You want to like put your time on like IV training this thing with like speed and all that. But we have seen it before. Doduolingo has proven himself to be a very good Pokemon. I like it a whole lot, and it's pretty good. Next one, Cloyster. Cloyster, a water and ice type. With the it evolves with the use of a water stone with Shelter. Cloyster is a fantastic wall. Even like in like ice type. Like ice type's not good when it comes to defense, but on offense, that's pretty good. So yeah, like Cloyster is good for being a wall. It's just ice type's not that good for defense though. I mean, you can use it, and you can try and use it for, like, defensive purposes, but probably most of the time it is going to get, like, shit on. But that doesn't mean it's a horrible Pokemon. It is good. It's a bit slow, but it's great when it comes to defense. Oh, next one. The fully evolved ghost type of Kanto, Gengar. Gengar! Fantastic! I keep saying fantastic because they are fantastic. Amazing. Amazing Pokemon. It is great when it comes to special attacking, and it's the only ghost type in Kanto. Downside, it's a poison type. So, it's kind of a double-edged sword when you want to use it against psychic types. Because one, ghost type is good against psychic, but two, psychic types are good against poison types. So you kind of have to be careful. But Gengar is an absolute unit of a special attacker, and I recommend it to anyone who's playing this. Downside, it's again another Pokemon locked behind trading, so you're going to need Haunter, trade with a friend, and bada bing bada boom, you got yourself a Gengar. Next one on the list, we've seen it before, we'll see it again, we'll see the massive palm tree. It's Exeggutor. Exeggutor, an amazing, amazing special attacker, and a good physical attacker at that. We've seen how high Exeggutor's attack stat is, but it's mainly used as a special attacker. Downside, it's on a bit of a slow side, but that can be helped with its ability, Chlorophyll, with Sunny Day, which boosts speed in sunlight. So you can go for a massive Solar Beam sweep or a massive Psychic sweep. It can learn both Light Screen and Reflect, so if you want to set up some defenses for your team, go for it. It can also tank hits just a little bit. Exeggutor is a really good Pokemon. All you need to do is get yourself an Execute, and get a Leaf Stone, and bada bing bada boom, Exeggutor. Next one, Rhydon. Rhydon, really good Pokemon. Though I don't like its typing a whole lot, Ground Rock, not good, but this thing is a powerhouse. It's really slow though, but it can deal a lot of damage with like Stone Edge and Earthquake. Its downside again though, you're gonna have, it's not until Victory Road where you can get Rhyhorn. Oh wait, no, you can get Rhyhorn in the Safari Zone. What am I talking about? It's just it evolves at level 42, into Rhydon. And it doesn't get its full evolutionary line being Rhyperior, but that's for Gen 4. So Rhydon is the full evolutionary line prior to Gen 4. But it's still a pretty good Pokemon at that, and I do recommend it a whole lot. Alright, next one, we've got the fully evolved fossils. We've got Omastar. Omastar! Really, really slow, but it does have the ability Swift Swim, where it boosts its speed in the rain. It's more on the defensive side, and not good when it comes to attacking and all that. And my thing when it comes to fossils for this game specifically, you get it at level 5 when you need to evolve it, fully evolve from Omanite into Omastar at level 40, and you get the fossils at Cinnabar. Who thought of that? Who thought it was a good idea? Huh? I want to know. But anyway, moving on to the next fossil is Kabutops. Kabutops is more on the fast attacking side, and it's just both of them are good in their well-respected stats. It's just if you want to go for something that can deal damage, Kabutops is your Pokemon. Again, downside, level 5 when you get Kabuto at Cinnabar, fully evolved into Kabutops at level 40. So, but it's good. Both are really good. Alright, next one is actually a line that I have missed in the main playthrough. So you can get this at Pallet Town with the use of fishing, and that is Staryu. Staryu! We've seen it before. It's pretty good. It's good specially. It's good. It does, it learns a lot of great, water moves, and when fully evolved into Starmie, with the use of the Water Stone, it becomes a part Psychic type, so you can get some Psychic type moves. I don't think it's the best Psychic type out there, like we've seen with Alakazam, Exeggutor, and all of that, but it's pretty good nonetheless. Next one, a Pokemon that I don't find really good is Seeking. Seeking, it's there. Like, it's just there. It's got really poor stats for like a fully evolved Pokemon, and it's just not that good entirely. There are way better options out there. But if you want to use Seeking, Goldines are like very common when you're fishing, with like a good rod to a super rod. So if you want to go for that, then be my guest. It's just Seeking's not that good. Alright, next one, the fully evolved pseudo-legendary, the Dragonite. Dragonite, a fantastic Pokemon, the fully evolved dragon type of this generation, and the pseudo, so meaning it's strong. It's very strong. It has a really good move pool, like a good typing, because Dragon has only 2 weaknesses, Dragon and Ice. It's not until Gen 6 where Fairy types get introduced, where it has no effect on Fairies, but Fairies are super effective against Dragon. They made it so they had to nerf Dragons. But Dragonite, fantastic Pokemon. It's just downside, it's quad weak to Ice. But other than that, it's good. It's got great stats, great moves, and entirely good Pokemon. And finally, the final Pokemon for Kanto, which you cannot get anywhere except through events, is Mew. Mew, it's got balanced stats. I think it's 100 across the board, actually, because it's a mythical. And Mew can learn every single TM and every single move in the game. Yeah, because it's got the DNA of every single Pokemon, so it can learn every single type of move. But the downside, since it's a mythical, you can only get it through event distributions. So back in like 2000, whatever the fuck, like 6 or whatever, there was an event for Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, mainly Emerald, where you can get yourself, what's it called? It's some kind of pass, where you can go to an island and you can encounter Mew. This is the only way to illegitimately get yourself a Mew in Gen 3. No other way, except like glitches and all that, but that's not a good way. Or hacking again, but that's a really bad way of doing it. The only way to get that is through that event distribution, get that Mew, and trade it over to LeafGreen. Or Fire Red or LeafGreen. That's the only way you can get Mew. But there are other ways of getting a Mew, and that's like later in modern Pokemon games. Those who've played Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl know what I'm talking about. But for this, Mew is it's a legend. Not a legendary, just a legend. Well, that has been every single Pokemon that I have missed, or just couldn't go through because they couldn't be found in the wild. So, there you go. So, again, thank you guys so much for watching this series. It was a blast to go through. It was very fun, and yeah, there will be future Pokemon playthroughs, just not at the moment. Gotta focus on other things. So, thank you again for watching this series, and I shall see you over for some Shadow Generations. Bye, guys!